Hello, guys. Hello, and welcome to a VANNtastic channel. Oh my goodness, I tell you what, it has been another fantastic day. Wanted to jump on here and say hello to everyone, let you know that I am trying to be as productive as possible. That's what this session is going to be talking about is productivity because I am super excited about teaching you guys everything I possibly can when it comes to how do we make our best life happen now. And I work on this every day too. I've really struggled with this today, as a matter of fact, because we not only want our finances in order, but we want to make sure that we're living our best life. And to live your best life, you have to stay in the game. And I tell you what, sometimes playing the game gets exhausting, doesn't it? Life happens. Our schedules get messed up due to, we have things going on we weren't expecting maybe. We have problems arise that we weren't expecting. Things jump into our schedule that we don't have time for, we feel like, but you still have to make time for that. So, the point being that we have to stay in the game. And if you are personally working on your finances right now, stay in there. I was working with a person today. They have a spouse that will not work with them financially. Uh, Trying to figure out what they're going to do about the spouse, trying to figure out if they can work all of the financial game around the spouse and the way the aggravation of having to deal with someone that doesn't want to be on your team. Does anybody have anybody uh, supposedly by your side that doesn't want to be on your team and they're not helping you to figure this financial stuff out? They don't even want to play the game. I was in a marriage for years with a person who did not want to even be on my team, much less working together with me financially, in life in general. Um, Guys, it's a tough role to play. And I was just honest with this person. I don't know what to do about that. I am not an advocate for divorce, but at the same time, if you've got a partner that is bringing you down, they don't want to play the same game you're playing with life. They don't want to be on the same path. That's a tough one, and I'm not going to act like it's not. Been there, done that, and that is a tough game to play. So, wanted you to know that I hear you when you talk to me about you have a spouse that does not want uh, to do the velocity banking, doesn't want to or agree with getting any kinds of lines of credit, won't put their money in on helping. Wow, you would not believe the people that I run into that their spouse will not even give them but a little bit of money to even put towards the debt. Uh, I don't know what to do with that. If you all have suggestions, please feel free to throw them in the comments because I know that people need to hear from you on, what is your answer when you have a spouse that does not want to be on your team but won't do the divorce. I had one tell me earlier that it's cheaper to keep her. I'm sorry, but that's horrible. That's horrible that is your marriage. Ah, there you go. Robert, he says, don't get married without coming to terms about finances before. Is that not the truth? Oh my goodness, please. Yes, you need to be on the same page with whoever you decide to marry when it comes to, your religion. When you have those kids, are you going to attend this church? Are you going to be in this denomination, whatever? If you're not on the same page with how you're going to raise the children in church, that is going to be sticky. I've not personally had that situation, but I'm telling you that is sticky, okay? In your finances, if you don't know how you feel about the debt, if you don't know how they feel about being a spender, if you don't understand that, then wow, that's really going to mess you up. Now, if I didn't deal with this every week, having the spouse that is not on the same page financially, I wouldn't be having this conversation right now. But the point is you are in a situation maybe right now to where you feel like you're stuck because, you want to work on your finances. You want to get out of debt. You want to be more productive in life in general. We want to be productive in life in general because if you're not growing, you're falling back. I don't want to fall back. I was just telling my husband that. Husband, come in here and tell them I was just telling you that. That's what I talk about a lot is you have to have the go, go, go mentality. You have to be growing constantly because if you're not growing, you're, I don't want to say decreasing. What's the word I'm looking for here? If you're not growing, you're not standing still. That's not the way life works. Either you're increasing or you're decreasing. And I always want to be on the increase financially. The love I show to people, being a giver, the productivity and work in general. I want to be growing, increasing. I want you guys to be growing and increasing because that's what we're here for. We're not here to sit here and just, oh, well, I'm just getting through. I'm going to have my mention in heaven one day, so I'll just kind of, struggle right now and just get through until I die. No, 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 no. That's a religious mentality that you need to get rid of. The point is that we're not sitting here waiting to die. We are sitting here growing until we die and then move on to bigger and better things, right? My problem, my son's wife would mortgage the house off to keep him out of jail. Oh my goodness, to keep him out of jail? That is horrible. Yes, there is no such thing as breaking even. You can't live like that. It's a very depressing life when you're just sitting back, letting everything just kind of go by. We don't want to live that life. We want to totally be productive. And let's see, what other statements do we have here? Hi, blessed to be blessed. Hello. Yes, you're blessed to be a blessing. Love that. Thank you, Princilla. I hope I said that right. Hello from Texas. Texas is in the house. You can ask a question if you like. I'm busy trying to appear productive. I feel like that's where I'm at some days is I'm trying to appear productive. And if you're doing that, then are you really being productive? I don't know. Yeah, shrinking, declining, very good. Yes. I divorced mine too, BLC. All right, my credit score went up 22 points in the first month I follow you. Awesome, Raw. Thank you so much, Dine. That's a good answer, Jesus. Thank you for that. Oh my goodness. Yes, paying off your debt is constantly empowering 24/7. It is. And I don't understand a spouse who doesn't want to be one by your side. Why did they marry you? Am I doing marriage counseling here? I don't think so. I'm talking this out. So I don't want anybody to think I'm any kind of counselor because obviously I've been through divorce and it happens, right? Let's talk about some scenarios here that we have with people who are stuck in a marriage that is unproductive. And when I'm saying unproductive, I'm talking, you know that you're going down this path while they are literally on another path. going the opposite way. That is extremely stressful. That's extremely stressful. That makes life miserable when you have a partner that is not on the same page with you. You know, they say a when you're in a marriage to where you feel like that you're on different paths, that's the loneliest that you can be in life. Because if you aren't married and you're alone, then okay, okay, I don't have anybody, I'm alone. But if you're in a marriage to where you feel like that you have been left behind, not behind, they're just, they're wanting to do the party scene, they're wanting to, uh, you know, maybe have their crazy adulterous life or whatever, and you're trying to stay clean, you're trying to, raise the kids, you're trying to get everything you need to get done to just maintain the home and the finances, and they're nowhere with you. That's stressful. Oh my goodness. I don't even know. I mean, I have so many feelings that well up when I talk about that because I know how that feels. And the reason for this discussion is I just got off with a person who literally is in that situation. And I didn't want to come right out and say, well, you need to get your divorce because that's not my call. Um, and, there were so many. When you have an adult child living at home and they're not helping you with the finances, that's a big red flag for me. Um, I don't like that to where you have an adult child that is working or not working, but they're not even helping you, to buy the food, to pay the electric. That's not even realistic that an adult human being would think that, hey, I'm living with mom or dad and they're taking care of everything, so I'm just going to lay around and watch TV. That is no. That's not going to happen in my house, and I hope that's not happening in yours, but it was happening in his. So he didn't just have a spouse problem. He had an adult child taking advantage problem, and he is in the negative financially. That's not fair. That's so much stress on a person. Oh my goodness. Wow. I I guess I kind of feel stressed out today after having these conversations with people because financially, if he had a spouse that was working and helping him, if he had the adult child that's living with them, paying any kind of rent, helping out with finances in any way, he wouldn't have any financial problems. The spouse would not agree to get the HELOC. The spouse would not agree to even a reverse mortgage because they were an older couple and they had an opportunity to move into that. So I don't know, people. I don't know what to say when you've got that situation going on. And I just want you to know that I feel you if you're in that situation. We dig. Imagine that you um, are just digging. You're just like, I'm digging, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. So I'm just, I'm going to keep on digging. And, eventually this is going to lead to what it is my goals are for my life, and I'm going to, I'm digging, I'm going to make this marriage the best it can be. And you come to a point to where you maybe need to lay down the shovel and walk away. And that's a tough one. That's a tough call. So that's what I said, a lot of people are in that situation. I deal with spouses weekly that are in that situation. If Especially if you're not married and you're in that situation, God bless you for being able to walk away and not, take on any other um, financial mess or whatever with not going through a divorce. But if you're married to somebody, that is super, super tough. And I want to pray for people like that in that situation, because you sometimes have to make major decisions that it's not fair that you have to make. But at the same time, you're put in a situation, a predicament that you need to do something. You need to do something because the Lord says that He has called us to peace. Wow, didn't that just feel good using the word peace? Some of you guys don't have peace out there, and you need the peace. You need to make decisions, major decisions on bringing the peace into your life. And if you're in the Lord and you're talking to Him about it and you're asking Him to help you and to show you ways, He will. And then you're going to have the peace you need to make the decisions that you need to make. I'm going to get off of that because that's just something personal that I've had to deal with. And if you're in that situation, please know that I feel you, and I hope that you can work out something quickly, making decisions to get your life back into productivity, where you're not just sitting around waiting on somebody else to make a move. But don't we hate that? Don't we hate waiting and wasting life while we're thinking, well, I'm going to be the best I can, and eventually they're going to come around and they're going to want to be with me, and they're going to want to do things that, um, do things that's going to, I don't know. It's just a mess, and I want you to know that, pray your way through situations like that and see if you don't get answers and get a peace about how you need to handle your situation. But I'm not going to whitewash the fact that some people are in some desperate situations, and we don't want to be that way. We don't want to be that way. We want to play our best game. We want to really, really be serious about our life, because we have this life to live, and you want to get super, super serious about making the right decisions for yourself, for your children, whatever that means. Okay, so whatever, Jeff Wild, get over it, right? Get over it. Okay. So, let's see here what you guys are saying. No, I do one-on-ones. Tried setting up a one-on-one session with you, but got transferred to another company. I don't know how that happened. Don't know how that happened. My calendar works, though. I was looking at it this morning, so I don't know if you went through a link that is not mine or whatever. I only have my house debt. I'm a saver. Can this benefit me? Absolutely. Oh my goodness. You'd be out of debt in no time if you're a saver and you only have that one debt. Absolutely. I'm nervous about doing a HELOC, but I really want to step out on faith and try it. Any recommendations on the best bank to use? A second position HELOC you can get at most banks or credit unions in your area. You just have to ask them what they offer in your area. The first lien HELOCs, yes, I do have not recommendations, but I do have lenders that you are welcome to have a conversation with. When you discuss the HELOCs for velocity banking, you mention interest on the HELOC in the calculations, but what if a HELOC has principal and interest? Okay, when you discuss the HELOCs, you mention interest on the HELOC in calculations. What if you have, it doesn't matter. When your income goes in to that HELOC, you're satisfying any payment that they have set up for you. So if you have $1,000 payment due on the HELOC, and you make, $3, $4, $10,000 a month, as that income goes into the HELOC, you're going to satisfy that $1,000 payment. The point is just the amounts that they are asking in addition to the interest is still going into the balance on your HELOC and paying it down. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Okay, so everybody's answering everybody's questions in here. That is awesome. Yes. Yes, he is replacing his mortgage with the first lien HELOC because it works. Yes, I am also in the process of renewing my own HELOC. So we're all doing it. It's a continual. We're being productive. We're staying active in our finances. We're continuing to get the tools that we need from the bank that is going to make a difference for our overall finances. So, yes, why would someone get a second position HELOC? Great question. Tanya, a couple of reasons maybe the person just doesn't want to take on that large line of credit that their mortgage is included in. Okay. Some people have real reservations about the larger line, and I completely understand it. Okay. Another thing may be that um, they don't want to throw all of the debt into the first lien because the interest they may be able to handle the interest better in a smaller line of credit, which would be the second position HELOC, better than they would in the first. So let's say, for example, you have $300,000 on a mortgage, and then you have little things like maybe a $10,000 balance on a car loan, maybe 5,000 credit card balance, whatever. You could take a smaller line of credit in a second position HELOC and pay off like the 5,000. Okay, so if you pay off the 5,000 credit card into the second position HELOC, you have reduced your simple interest charges. And if it's 5,000 and you make 5,000 a month, when you throw your income into the line of credit to pay into that line, you literally may pay off the line of credit in the first month just putting your income in there. So now you're not really paying any interest at all. Whereas if you take your income of $5,000 and throw it into a $300,000 or $400,000 line of credit, now you've got the interest over the whole 300,000 or 400,000, and your income may not have as much of an effect on paying off the debt like it would if you had that smaller line where you're chunking off your smaller debts, gaining the cash flow that way. I sure hope that makes sense because in my mind it did. But that I was saying a lot there. But sometimes it depends on how you feel about using the larger line, how much cash flow you have. Is it going to be able to pay off the larger line, or do you need to start with the smaller line to build up some cash flow? All kinds of situations would be better to use the second position rather than the first. I hope that makes sense. Credit cards will work if you use them correctly. If you go to the playlist on the YouTube channel, you're going to see credit card debt strategies. You're welcome to go there and watch how to use the credit card. I'm in Texas. What banks do you recommend for getting a personal line of credit? The bank I'm at now does not want to approve me for more than 2,000, even though I have had the account for over a year now. Rave Doll, you may want to just look at other banks or credit unions around you that's interested in working with you. Some banks are tough. So ask questions to other banks in your area. Let's see. Hello, Salvador. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to go back to because I do coaching all the time, and I know that that sounds a little bit silly because people are like, well, why would a person do coaching that's already running a YouTube channel? Why would somebody do coaching that already knows how to handle their finances? Well, they're life is tough, and there's a lot of things that we need to be working on all the time. We need to be productive. We need to be growing. Like I was saying at the beginning of this live, it's super important that you continue to be productive and to grow because that's what's going to bring value to your life. That's what's going to keep you active and moving and being your best self. So I take coaching. I have 3 different coaches in my life, and I know that sounds super crazy, but I've had marriage coaching and counseling, and I think that is great. Whether you have a great relationship or whether you have mediocre, whatever. You can be growing in your marriage and you need to be growing in your marriage. So as I was just saying at the beginning of the video here, if you don't have a partner that is in your space, that they're on your page and they're moving on the same direction you are, that can be tough in life completely. That can make everything tough. So the marriage counseling and counselors, they're great. I have a high performance coach. I know, right? This one is my toughest one because high performance means you are really on your game. And I have a high performance coach just to go over things with me weekly on what am I doing with my own schedule. What does my schedule, my calendar look like? What can I do to increase that schedule and to become more productive? And this is tough for me because sometimes I'm like everybody else. I want to lay around the house and do nothing. I want to, spend a day cleaning instead of working because I love a clean house and I try to stay on top of that. And some days I just want to work around the house. I know that sounds so silly, but that's what I enjoy doing. And today has kind of been one of those days where I just want to, work around the house and get caught up on some things that's fallen behind. But when it comes to your business, you have to stay super productive. I had a coaching session last night, and I'm getting my calendar really updated for the rest of this year, and that takes some work, especially for me, because if you leave your calendar open, then guess what? If things pop up to do, then you can go run and do them and you don't have to worry about being busy, right? You don't have to worry about trying to rework your schedule to, go play with your kids or something. But if you have a set calendar, then the calendar dictates what you're going to be doing up until a certain time, and then you've been super productive in your day, and now you can go off of a night and do whatever it is that you wanted to do. Or maybe my cutoff time is around 3 o'clock because that's when my daughter gets out of school. So if I set my calendar until 3, then I get to pick her up and go do some things with her. Then I can come back about 6, 7 o'clock at night and then work in the office some more. So my calendar is divided up just to spend some time with my daughter. So maybe you want to do that as well. But the action indicator assessment that I have to complete for the coaching session that I had last night kind of goes like this. Think of a big dream or goal you'd like to achieve. I want you guys to do this too. Do this with me. I'm doing this so that I can become better. This is a 12-week coaching sessions that's set up to bring me to a certified high performance, right? I can only hope, but you have to work with the coaching sessions so that you are growing and that you're really staying motivated. I absolutely love my coach that's doing this with me because he is a doctor and he does this on the side, and it's like, okay, doctors are successful. I want to be as successful as a doctor. And this dude, I mean, he is on it. He's up at 4 o'clock every morning doing his workouts. I don't do that. I don't do that. I used to do that, but I don't do that anymore. But that makes me want to do it, to get up and to move your body and to stay healthy. That's super important for your mind and everything. So, his calendar starts his day with his exercise. Then, he's a doctor, so he's got appointments that start. But then they have, their team meetings that they start with first thing of a morning at his office. And then, they see patients until noon, and then they do lunch, and then they have another team meeting in the afternoon. And it's just like his schedules go, 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 besides the coaching that he does at night. So I don't even know how he keeps up with the schedule. That's crazy because you're talking 4 in the morning, and then I work with him 9 to 10 p.m. at night. So because that's just where I can fit him into my schedule as well. So the point being that I want to be as hardworking and as motivated and as productive as a doctor would be, right? So that's why I'm working with who I am. So think of a big dream or goal that you'd like to achieve. What if we could know in advance whether or not you'll be productive and work hard towards your dreams? We can. Below are several categories to consider when trying to assess your will, competence, and likelihood of taking on or successfully completing any given challenge in life. With each category, give yourself a rating of 1 to 10 as described. After you complete all the categories on scaling, find out your overall score and its implication, implications. Sorry, I'm from Tennessee. By adding all of your ratings. Okay, so the first category is future identity. So remember, you had to think of your big goal or dream that you'd like to achieve. Now, I have several big goals and dreams I would like to achieve. That is why I have a high performance coach, is to help me get those in order so that I'm being productive to reach the goals. So if I'm thinking of a big dream or goal, and I'm not sure I want to say that on here. I don't know because, I have so many that I really need to get them organized. And, what order do I want the next goal to come in? You should have a goal for today, for this week, for 2 weeks, for this month, for this quarter, for this year. That's just the way I kind of set my stuff up. So, what are your top 3 priorities? What are the top 3 things that you would like to um, make happen for your life this today, for this week, for a couple of weeks from now, for this month, for this quarter, for this year? So I am getting ready to do the September the 1st live virtual conference, right? We did one in January, very successful. So we're going to be having another one starting September the 1st. That is Labor Day. So, of course, it's going to be wrapped around a theme of Labor Day. Now we're going to start that September the 1st. That'll go through the 3rd. We're going to have many speakers come in. We're going to be talking about, velocity banking, infinite banking. We're going to be talking about Money Max. I'm going to invite my coach to attend so that he can talk about this high performance academy and what that looks like in lives that he's working with people currently that are wanting to become more productive and wanting to meet some really big goals in their lives. So of course I'm going to bring him in. I'm going to have Matthew Pillmore in there. I would. He's my number one business coach, I guess you would say, as far as he's kind of financial business. He kind of does everything. And then you've got Alex, he's a great coach for me. He is continually keeping me motivated while he is helping me with things that I need help with business wise. So see guys, and also my preacher is coming in who is also a marriage coach. So I have coaches all around me, and if you want to be productive and if you want to really be in your best game, playing your best game, then for goodness sake, get these people around you that are coaching you to come up. And you want good coaches. You want coaches that are already productive in their own lives, such as Matthew Pillmore. He is super successful, super good at business, super great at finances. Of course, I would want him on my team. The coach I have here, Dr. Dennis, he is number one because he is a doctor and he's had to really work hard to get where he is today. So of course I would want him on my team. Alex, super successful. Oh my gosh, at growing business. He has been number one when it comes to somebody that has really motivated me to be my best and to really grow the channel and really grow my business. I just so appreciate him. So when you have these coaches around you that are making you think about who you are, think about the life you're living, think about what you're accomplishing, that is only going to build you up to make you a better person. So it's just really, really think about what you've got going on in your life and how you would like to do it better. Then look at the coaches that are around you that can give you the motivation that you need to become the better person. Okay, so as far as the categories on this assessment for this big dream or goal you would like to achieve, is this goal or activity relevant to my future identity, to how I see myself and what I see myself doing over the long term in the future? Wow. Yes. Is this very much my goals very much are relevant to my future identity and who I want to be and how I want to see myself in the future. So yes, I would give that a 10. Intrinsic value. Is this goal or activity something I am passionate about, would enjoy doing, feel proud about, and sense being meaningful to my future life? Absolutely. Would I do this regardless of money, status, recognition, or power? Would I? I mean, those are questions you need to ask yourself as well. If this future goal that you want in your life, is it something that you're going to do regardless of the money, regardless of any recognition that you would get? I mean, a lot of goals are set up based on money, but if something is fulfilling to you and it makes you feel good about your life in general, then money's not always involved there. So, your goal may not be something that's going to bring you money, such as your goal to grow your relationship with your children. That's not going to bring you money, but that's certainly going to be fulfilling. Maybe your spouse, maybe you're working on your relationship with your spouse, and your goal is to really make your spouse and your relationship so much stronger. That doesn't bring money, but that certainly is fulfilling. So, trying to throw some ideas out there for you guys. Okay, is this goal or activity something that will lead to a useful outcome for me? Will I get something useful in life out of doing this? So once again, are you growing your business? Is it going to be bringing more money? Are you growing your relationship? Is that going to be a stronger, happier relationship? It just depends on what your goals are. And if that would be uh, a, something that's going to be a useful outcome for me, absolutely. I mean, think about it. Any goal that you set up ought to be useful in some way in your future because everything leads to something else. At least that's been my experience. So think about these things. These questions are important that you're sitting really analyzing, thinking about what you want your life to be, what your future is going to look like. You have to think. I think we have so much computer around us and so much AI now that we don't even have to think. We just put in a suggestion uh, in the computer and it'll spit back out what it thinks we should do. But God gave you a mind for a reason. So sit and think to yourself. I've told you guys before, I like to sit down with a piece of paper and just write every idea that comes to my mind and what that's going to look like, and then watch it kind of unfold. And I've been through days where I have sit down and taken a piece of paper and just written down, okay, what would I like to see in my life? What is it that I would like to accomplish? Crazy ideas that you never think would unfold in your life, write them down. And then, in a day, 2, 3, a month, see if you don't have some crazy, great ideas come out of that brainstorming that you're doing with yourself. And of course, sit and go through these brainstorming activities with your coaches, because that is certainly going to bring you ideas you never thought of for sure. I love brainstorming with the coaches because they give me such a good ideas. They motivate me. It gets me excited. We need to be excited about life. We need to be growing. I'm going to say that again. You need to be growing. You don't need to be sitting around waiting for something to happen for you. You get out and make it happen. So you make it happen. Okay? I can sit here and tell you all day long what I'm doing to increase in my life, but you're the only one that can make it happen. All right? So let's move on to the next one. In pursuing this goal or activity, can I avoid losing out on other things that I find important? That's a great question. Can I do this without costing too much time, energy, effort, resources, and willpower needed elsewhere? I think that brings up a great thought that I sometimes have when it comes to business goals that I set for myself, because it does take away from time with your family. I mean, let's get real. Business can be busy. That's why busy is the first word in business. Is you are busy making something happen. You're busy growing your business, and that can take you away from your family time. That's why the schedule, the calendar is so important, that you stay on top of the calendar, because you don't want to lose the time with your family. If you have a spouse, if you have children, you want to make sure that you're keeping the family the priority along with growing your business. So that's a very good one. Can I avoid losing out on other things that I find important? That's probably going to be very much no, not at all. I'm going to kind of do a 5 on that, because you are going to have to pay in some ways when it comes to, when you're going to find the time to meet the goals, especially the big ones that's growing the business. Yeah, that's a good thought. Some of these things make me think too. Okay, is this goal or activity going to have quick and recognizable results that I can enjoy soon? That's a great question. Um, it depends, right? It depends on what your goal is and how much time and money it's going to take to reach it. Some goals, like I said, you can accomplish today, or by the end of this week, or by the end of this month. Some goals may be a 5-year goal. It may be, having your retirement accounts grown to a certain amount, or having debt paid off. That may be your goal. And I hope you do have that goal, because that's a very, very good goal to have. Um, so it just depends on what your goal is and how long that, reasonably it is going to take you to reach it. Personal control. Is this goal or activity something that you will be able to make happen by your own efforts? Okay, there's a bug flying around. What's going on? Stop it. Stop it. Okay. Is this goal or activity something that you will be able to make happen by your own efforts? Meaning, do you need a coach? You know, by your own efforts. By your own efforts. That's a good question. Meaning, are you going to need a team? You know, are you going to need somebody to set up your landing pages? If you're doing something that you're going to need a link for people to visit. I think most things can be done with our own effort. I don't think we need a coach for everything, but I feel like that sometimes you do need that. Sometimes you do need an advisor, depending upon what your goal is. Now, if your goal is to get out of debt, then guess what? The channel's going to do it for you because you've got videos and they're free and you don't need a coach. You just need to watch the videos. You need to go to the bank, find out what tools they offer that's going to help you to meet your financial goals. Okay. I am a big on you not spending money on gurus to help you get out of debt. When there are videos, especially on the VANNtastic channel, that is going to show you and talk to you and tell you exactly what options that you could be looking at for debt elimination. Okay, so when it comes to financial goals, you probably can make it happen with your own efforts without hiring somebody to do that. Social support. Is this goal or activity something people will support me on? Will others provide direction and cheerleading when I'm attempting this? Again, is that debt elimination? Do you have a partner on board with you or not? Just like we were talking about in the beginning of this live, do you have somebody that is supporting you, that they're cheerleading you on, they're helping you to meet the goal of debt elimination? Do you have somebody that supports your business goals? Do you have a partner that's working with you on developing a stronger relationship? You kind of got to think these things out. What is your goal? What is that goal that you would like to achieve? And do you have somebody that is supporting you in that? It does help to have that. Is this goal or activity something I will have enough time and focus to do a good job at? That is so true. I think that's what, with the coach that's the doctor that I have. How does he have time to be a doctor all day long and to do the coaching too? Wow, what kind of motivation does he have in his life that he takes time to work all day long with patients and to work doing the coaching to help other people to become their best? I love that. I think that's an awesome person that's really just working not just to help people with their health and their bodies, but also to help them with their minds and their productivity. I think that's beautiful. Is this goal or activity? Oh, I already read that one. Well, I have the resources I'll need to successfully accomplish this goal. If you're talking about the debt elimination goal, then you absolutely have the resources to get all of the options that you have available to you by watching the channel. By watching anyone's channel on YouTube that's talking about finances, we can grow. um, we just have to learn. We have to get educated about what options we have. Now, when it comes to the resources needed from the bank, then of course you have to have a good credit score, right? Before the bank will even work with you. So that might be something that you need to work on a little bit to get your credit scores up, which I have videos talking about that as well. But if you're talking about business, well, I have the resources I'll need to successfully accomplish this goal, then you'll just know that by what you have actually going on around you. What is your goal and what is it going to take to successfully reach that goal? Okay. And will I be given the trust and decision making authority I need to feel as though I'm in control and able to make things happen? Ah, isn't that beautiful? You can make it happen. You can make it happen. So, um, I don't even care if people around me trust that I'm making the right decisions, um, because I, one, talk to God about things like this. And, we're even talking about buying a small property. Me and my husband are, and I'm talking to the Lord about that. And I haven't jumped out and said, yes, I'm going to do this, because I want to be sure. And so I'm not somebody that'll just jump. Yeah, I'm not going to jump into making a decision without knowing that I have peace about it first. And peace is very important. So if I'm jumping, some people will run out and they'll buy a new car and not even think about what they're doing. And now they have the big payment. And now they're like, oh my gosh, what have I done? I'm stuck with this car and I can't get rid of it. And now I have this big payment. I've never been that person because I don't want that stress. And I'm going to kill this fly if it doesn't get away from me. Where did it go? So the point is, don't rush into decisions. The property that we're looking at, I want to make sure that I'm going to be able to use that. Is that of value to me? And, it seems like a good deal. It seems like something I would want and need. But at the same time, I'm taking my time making decisions. And guess what? If it gets away, then I can say, well, I waited too long and it got away. And so what? Something else will come up. So I always think about, what you're doing, and don't take somebody else's word for what you should do. You find peace about it yourself. And like I said, I do that through praying about it and, declaring what I want, what my goals are. If I have a solid if I have a solid goal in my mind that I'm wanting to accomplish, then I know that I know that I know I can do it, or I won't even have it. And so when you know that you can make it happen, then what's stopping you? What's stopping you? When you write down your goal and hey, I want this, then you're going to make it happen. And because you write it down and because you declare that that's coming into your life and you're going to have that and you're going to date the paper, and it's going to say, hey, I am going to have this accomplished by this date, then whether that be additional income that you need, that you're bringing in, you're declaring you're going to make that happen in your life, you're going to make it happen. I am a huge believer in we make things happen in our lives. Everything's not coincidence. Stop sitting around waiting for somebody to make it happen for you. If you're sitting around waiting for the government to do something for you, then wow, rethink that. You make it happen, okay? And you can make it happen. And I want you to be encouraged that whatever your goal is, whatever desire it is for your life, you can make it happen. You will make it happen if you set your mind to it. And I've proven that over and over again, and I aim to keep proving it over and over again because I have more things I want to do in life before I get out of here. And so the point being that you can make it happen if you have a goal in mind, and keep them there. Stay stirred up about what it is that you want to do in your life and you want to accomplish. And a lot of people don't even ever think about that. you don't think about what it is you want in life. You're kind of just going with the flow. You know, you're getting up, you're getting ready for work, you're going to work. You're coming home, you're cleaning house a minute, you're doing supper, you're getting ready for bed, and you get up and do it again. I've been there. I know what that feels like to live like that. The point is you can change that up. You can make your life super exciting. You just have to get moving with it, okay? All right, let me read some more questions here and see if I missed anything. I need coaching. I know. I need your help with figuring out how to pay my bills and not pay so much in interest and make my balance go down. I have no credit card debt, but my home and car payment. So 92%, you have really got to keep watching some videos, okay? Hey, thank you, Lupita. I hope I said that name right. In Arizona, thank you so much. What strap are you at? Infinite banking? I don't know what that means, Ida. I do infinite banking and I absolutely love it. Let's see. We owe $240,000 on home and have large amount of debt, but the home is valued at $420,000. That is awesome. Maybe you should look at the first lien, depending on what your cash flow is. Oh, well, yeah, if you're looking at infinite banking, Brian, I do work with a team with Chris and Oggle's group, so then that's right. All good coaches have a coach. Tanya, you're like super awesome. Very good. I didn't realize that for years and years, so that's why I was sharing that today, is some people do not understand that, you know, it helps to have a good person or persons to talk out what you're wanting to do in your life and brainstorm. Okay, Kevin says, me and my partner are not on the same page about finances, so I split our finances a long time ago. So my goal is to pay off my half of the mortgage quickly. Very good, Kevin. So I literally had to split finances as well with my spouse. So not the one, I'm talking about my previous one who was not on the same page with me. He was literally going to take us into bankruptcy again, and I didn't aim to go there. So I ended up, you know, my income, my money went into my accounts. I literally had all the debt because I knew that, yeah, I had this much money. And then, you know, if he gave me extra money or whatever, then I would put it in and calculate it into whatever my numbers were for the month. But I did not count on that person for anything to do financially, because I I just feel like some people are bums and they don't want to do better. That's not who I am. So Kevin, super proud of you for standing up and taking control of the situation. A lot of people think they don't have control. I didn't think I had control for years and years and years. We have more control than we know. And when you have somebody that's just stepping all over you in your relationship, or even a child, that, like I said earlier, the adult child that's living at home and they're not helping financially, I don't know who gave them the idea they had that option. Everybody, you know, we're all human beings, and if you're an adult, then you need to adult and you need to do what you need to become a better human being. I don't believe in laying around doing nothing. Oh my gosh, I don't believe in that. It's really angering, actually. I can't stand the entitlement. Nobody is entitled to anything. We are all here to work and to do the best we can until we're out of here. So that's what I have to say about it. I've been practicing velocity banking using the second position HELOC, and I've saved a lot on interest so far. I am in year 2030 in payments. Awesome. Wow, you sound like you're doing really good. Really good. Our current interest rate is only 3%. Is it possible to leave that alone and get a HELOC with a second mortgage? Second mortgage. Did you just say that? The second mortgage is a loan. We don't ever want to do a second mortgage if at all possible. Oh my goodness. 3%? Is that only 3%? Well, if you've been watching the videos, then you know 3% is how much? I know somebody's going to say it right. I know it. That's right. 3% is 60%, right? Yes. And you don't want a 60% anything when it comes to interest, for goodness sake, right? So the point is the 3% is higher than a credit card. I said it. You're dealing with an amortization schedule, and the mortgage is crazy when you're talking about an amortization schedule. So please know what you're talking about with interest rates. Credit cards, lines of credit are simple interest. Mortgages, personal loans are amortized. So your interest is already included and set up and possibly front loaded. Not saying that out loud, but kind of did. Yeah, so just know what kind of interest you're dealing with, okay? Does velocity banking allow for flexibility and surprises? Absolutely. Absolutely. I bought a home. I have a second mortgage with 0% and 0 payment, but if I refinance, the second mortgage has to be paid back. It was our first time home buyer grant. Can I get a HELOC on the first mortgage? It depends on how bad you want to be out of debt, Derek. You're going to have to make a decision on how you're going to get out of debt and how quickly you're going to do that. Okay. If you That's a loaded question. The 0% is beautiful, but at the same time, if you're wanting to get out of debt, you may have to roll that into a revolving line and let your cash flow work that down and just go ahead and pay that off too. I get what you're saying about that because that is a tough one. And without more information, then I wouldn't even know really what to say about that. But I see where you're coming from there. Matthew is wonderful. I love him. I think that he is super awesome. Matthew coached me 4 years ago and help put me on a solid path. He's very good. He's very good. I don't even know if he does a lot of coaching now or not. Don't know about that, but he's good. Can my 18-year-old get an LOC to go to college, or should she get a student loan? The student loans are as bad, if not worse, than the mortgage. So if she's going to get a student loan, then for goodness sake, have it set up to where she is starting to chunk it down with a line of credit. If she has a job at 18, then yes, she can get some sort of line of credit to get started, usually at a credit union, so that she can use the cash off of that card to transfer back and forth if she needs to. If she has a checking account that is linked to the credit card. I have videos that talk about that, so feel free to go watch them. But yes, 18 years old, if she has a job, she can get some sort of line of credit and start building that limit up through the months so that she can take then the credit card and start chunking down a student loan if she decides to go that way. Yes, I hope that makes sense. Okay. My daughter has got scholarships for everything and anything so that they didn't pay any college tuition. And it can be done. And they worked very hard to get those scholarships. They never had any sport scholarships. So I'm not a real big fan of sports scholarships because one, they usually don't give you enough to cover the whole amount that you're going to need. Two, they're working themselves to death with playing the sport and doing the school. So, there's other scholarships available. And, my daughter's got them anywhere from, um, oh my gosh, they did everything. I need to have my daughter on one day to talk about the scholarships and how many there are out there available just to give you the extra funds that you need to not pay for your college tuition. So have your daughter maybe go by the financial office and ask them for scholarship opportunities and see. Even VANNtastic has scholarships that I do for the local high schools here, seniors that are graduating. So, you know, check around even with the high schools that she's in, if she's in one, and try to find out what scholarships are available because they do pay good. And if you have several, then you don't have to, they don't necessarily just pay towards your tuition. They may give that to you so that you can use it as you need it as well, to buy books or whatever. So I went the long way to say, to see if you can't get some more scholarships for any kind of college, university that you're going to be doing so that you're not paying any into the student loans. We want to avoid that if at all possible. Lots of velocity banking mixed with some credit strategies. Christy does amazing explaining the velocity banking aspect to sharpen your finances. Thank you so much for that, Navigate. Let's see here. Strange question, Christy. Do you use the MoneyMax program by plugging in the numbers to help your clients when coaching? I do not. No, I have the MoneyMax personally. I did buy into that myself, but I have not ever used that during a coaching session because velocity banking with a line of credit is different from the MoneyMax as far as the MoneyMax eliminates interest. And there's going to be, I think they're having one right now. They're having a webinar for the MoneyMax right now. But that is an interest eliminator, okay? The lines of credit help us to eliminate interest by using them correctly. But this MoneyMax system actually shows you how to eliminate most of the interest. We can do the best we can do with a line, and it makes a huge difference. But that MoneyMax, it's always going to be the line of credit. But no, I do not plug in numbers to the MoneyMax program when coaching. No, I just teach people how to use lines of credit. Yay, 92%. I can't wait either. I need to open up some more times. I know June 27th, that's pretty far out. And I realized that today that I didn't have my calendar open because I've been doing a lot of traveling and I have more traveling to do in June. But I will open up more times that are close, like who wants to wait till the end of the month to get in? And I realize I need to open up some more times. So hopefully I'll do that by July the 1st. I'm also going to be releasing the link for the September the 1st live webinar conference that we're having, where Matthew Pillmore is coming in, Alex Alberin, Dr. Dennis is coming in. We're going to have Chris Inaugle with us. I'm super excited about that. We are going to have the MoneyMax representatives coming in and talking. So it's going to be a full 3 days of information. And I'm super excited about that. So I hope you guys are getting excited too. This may be the dumbest question. Would you suggest using your savings to pay off your mortgage or just stay the course with a HELOC? Thanks in advance. Okay, so good question. I personally like using the first lien HELOC to pay off the mortgage, and then throwing the savings back into that first lien HELOC will reduce that debt, keeping the interest down, Now your savings is working for you while you're paying off your debt, and you still have a lot of cushion in your line of credit in the event you have an emergency. So I love the lines of credit for that, especially the first lien when you're talking about paying off a home. Okay, I hope that helped. Good, Afton. She did get a lot of scholarships, just not enough to cover it all. Yes. So then, any loan amounts that she has to get, for goodness sake, have the line of credit set up and ready to start chunking that down. Okay. Thank you, Christy. Velocity banking helps increase cash flow and money. Max lowers interest. Just paraphrasing for myself. That's exactly right. Yes. Yes. Advice needed. Awaiting HELOC approval. Have to pay $31,000. Part credit card payout from divorce. Nervous about maxing out HELOC. Have additional amount after listed amount to pay. Okay. All right. I think I got what you were saying, Pauline. It's all about cash flow. It's all about cash flow. Okay. Whatever that cash flow is can bring down the debt pretty quickly, depending again upon how much cash flow that you have. I hope that helped. I don't even know what I just said. I don't even know if it made sense. Okay, let's see. I've been watching your videos for a while. Can you please do one example of how the mortgage interest rate is or will be double? Are you multiplying by 2 if the interest rate is 5%? So if your interest rate is 5% on your mortgage, you can take that times 2, which is 10, and then add a 0, which means you're going to be paying 100% in interest. So if you have a $100,000 mortgage, that your original loan amount, you're at 5%, you're going to pay 200,000 back. So that means you're paying an additional 100,000 in interest. If you go look at your mortgage contract that you signed, go to the closing cost statement, you're going to see what your actual interest rate is in there. So they sell it to you at a 5%, but when you look at your contract documents in the closing cost section, you're going to see that it's actually 100% or very close to it. I know, right? That hurts, don't it? That hurts. Yes, Jesus says more people should consider going to their local community college. Yes, I agree with you. Yes. Let's see. Do we have anything else? Good. Thank you, Lien. I think I said your name right. Yes. Very good, Jesus. Very smart. Thank you, Martha. Thank you for watching today. Didn't know every time I draw down on the PLOC, it lowered my credit score. Well, Martha, if your income's going in to the PLOC that you're using, it shouldn't be a drag on your credit score at all if you're using velocity banking correctly, okay? Because you're working down debt. Even though, people say, well, the revolving line of credit, when you put more debt into that, you're lowering your credit score. That's not true because we're not gaining debt, okay? If I have a $10,000 car loan and I transfer the $10,000 into a revolving line of credit, I've still got the same debt amount, right? I had $10,000 with the loan. Now I have $10,000 in the line of credit because I paid off the loan with the line of credit, right? So people can be silly all they want all day long and say, yeah, but why would you pay off debt with debt? Well, duh. You sound silly when you even ask that question, because the point is your income is going in now to revolve in to that line of credit, which is lowering the balance. So if you make $5,000 in a month and you have a $10,000 line of credit, when that $5,000 goes in, it's going to lower the balance on that $10,000 balance, right? Now, what happened with the car loan that you paid off into the line of credit? Well, you gained that monthly payment that you were making over here in a loan. Your income goes into the line, working the balance down. the cash flow sitting in there just paying that thing off. All day long, I work with people that go from having 2, 3, 4, 5 years left on a car loan that we're paying off in 8, 9, 10 months. It's just because you're using the wrong tool at the bank. That's what the whole channel is about, okay? My daughter just graduated high school and is going into college. She cash flowed her car and is cash flowing college. Which program can I start her on to building wealth? The infinite banking. I have links in the video to do with the infinite banking concept. That is beautiful. It helps to build your own banking system while you are still providing for your family in the event and when you die. We're all going to die, so let's be prepared financially for that as well. The infinite banking concept is guaranteed growth, guaranteed not to lose it, and it's gaining compound interest and dividends most of the time, and that is so beautiful. So I'm super excited about you guys learning how to use velocity banking, that you're getting excited about your finances. That's what's super important. And I just wanted to come on here tonight and go over just a little bit about, are you playing your best game? Is your life what you want it to be? And if not, set those goals and get there. Because if I can do it, you can do it. And I know you can. And I know I can. You can make it happen, and you can get excited about life, and you can get motivated to move into things you never dreamed were possible. And that's exactly where I would like to see each and every one of you go. Let's get out of this sticky debt. Let's just stop this. I know that this live was a little more serious than most because, I've been dealing with the spouses that are having a really hard time getting on the same page, and that's draining. And I don't want you guys to be drained. I want you to be encouraged and know that if I can come out of those sticky situations, that you can too. And I am super excited to help you do that. And I appreciate your kind words. Thank you, Lien. I hope that you guys are having absolute success in everything that you're doing. And your finances, you can do it. Your finances can be very, 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 very easy if you get set up in the right tools. Okay? I'm going to jump off of here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening and your week. Like I said, get excited. Start running towards whatever goals that you have set up. And if you don't have any set up, set them up. I remember that I didn't even realize goals made a difference. I didn't even realize that goals were important. But I know now that anything you set your mind to, you can do it. And once it's written down on paper and you start rolling that around, brainstorming about how you're going to make that happen, you can make it happen. And it's an exciting life out there, and you need to take advantage of it while you're alive, right? Let's don't sit around and die with our music in us. If you saw that movie, it's a great movie, and it's very important that we stay encouraged, that we stay excited, that we look for opportunities every day to serve. That's so important that you're serving other people, because if you can make something happen for someone else, then every dream you have is going to have to come true too, because you are doing what you were put down here to do, and that is to help others and to serve. And that's the mind frame that I want to stay in. So I hope that you guys have a great rest of your week. Like I said, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the video, or I'm sorry, in the comments below. That way I can go in and answer them. I usually look at the YouTube at least 5 times a day, because I like to go in and see the comments and see if I can help people get some questions answered. All right, well, I guess that this is the end of this video, and I hope that you've enjoyed the information that, I come in with. I want you to stay productive. I want you to realize that it doesn't matter what area you're in, what state, what country even. Once you set your mind to making something happen, you can make it happen. And I can't say that enough. I want you to really get serious about what you're doing in your life and to realize that it can be so much more if you feel like it's not enough right now. And even if you feel like that you're fulfilled and you're really meeting the goals that you have set for your life, then keep increasing, keep developing more goals and seeing if you can't make it more than you ever thought was possible, because I know we can, and I have to keep myself encouraged to that as well. And I want you to stay encouraged. Okay, so guys, I will let you go. And you know what? I'll probably see you in the next video. So hang on, keep watching videos, stay encouraged, and keep learning. Get yourself educated, because that's what helps us through.